Welcome back, Star Wars fans. My name is Jeremy, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the question that has crossed my mind ever since I first watched Return of the Jedi, and that was what was going through Palpatine's mind when he was betrayed by Vader? What was going through his mind as he died? Officially, actually was killed. Because through legends and maybe a little bit of canon, there is, been a little bit of that he knew that Vader was trying to overthrow him, but and at parts he was actually proud that his apprentice was trying to do that, but at the same time he kind of was happy for him, and at the same time he didn't want that to happen. It's kind of this, flip of a coin kind of decision. But what's really interesting is in legends in multiple books, it is discussed that he was outraged when he was picked up and being carried, and so he was filled with so much anger, and he was being betrayed, and so that's why a lot of his lightning attacks was hitting Darth Vader. It could be that, or it could just be, well, it was coming out and it had to hit something, but I don't really think that's what was. I think Palpatine was actively trying to kill Vader in those moments. But what makes me wondering is the really descents to this question have never been answered in legends or canon. What was going through Palpatine's mind when he knew he was dead? As in, no longer living, all your plans, your empire, everything has been taken away from you. You have been betrayed by your former apprentice. Because Vader, the moment he picked up Palpatine, being Darth Vader, a Sith Lord, ceased to exist, and he reverted from being Darth Vader back to being a Jedi of Anakin Skywalker. And so we don't really have answers to the broad question of what was going through the Emperor's mind when he was dead, but we can kind of speculate. So this is all kind of speculation and theory, is what this video is going to be really. My guess is that he would be outraged. I think even as he was being carried to the compressor, I think it's called, and being thrown over, because we hear him scream all the way down until um, excuse me, until he hits the bottom, and we have that white, that wind and blue thing from the lightning. Um, but my guess is he would be very, very angry. He can't come out. He cannot come back as a Force ghost because only light users are able to do that, because the dark side uses way too much fear and suffering and anger and hatred, um, when they are. That's just the whole part of the dark side, and it's not really capable for them to come back as a Force ghost, and they can't. And even if they can someday, for some weird reason, come back, they can't really affect the physical world any more than a Jedi Force ghost can. They're gone. Because when you come back as a Force ghost, you are living through the Force. Very much like when Obi-Wan died, he became one with the Force. Same thing with Yoda, and I'm guessing Qui-Gon, as well as eventually Anakin. That's why they were all able to come back as Force ghosts, except for Qui-Gon. We've never seen him as a Force ghost before, but it's just very, very interesting. And I think that's, I'm kind of going into this a subject, but it really does make me wonder what was going through his mind. I mean, we can guess so many different ideas, from him being angry and him like trying to reach out to maybe other Siths or possible dark users to try to maintain the Empire. And as we have seen, the Empire is gone. The Battle of Jakku is proof of that. The Empire doesn't exist, and after that, we had the First Order. And I've been meaning to make a video on this, and I'll probably talk more about this when I review the newest films. But I think it's really funny how we kind of went from having one empire to another. That's basically what the First Order is. It's really an empire without being called the Empire. It's just a new empire basically built on. It's kind of set up a little bit differently from the Empire, but for the most part, it has the same goal of domination and control at any means necessary. But I think it's really interesting that the era of the Sith is kind of dying, and I feel like the Emperor was by far one of the most brilliant and genius Siths to ever exist because of what he orchestrated. He was such an evil character, but he was also a really interesting character. And we get to see the brilliant fall of the Jedi. The Jedi are gone because of him. He orchestrated the clone army. He knew he needed that to be able to destroy the Jedi in the first place, which I think is ironic because he could never have destroyed the Jedi without it. There's no way. There's over 10,000 Jedi at the time, and he's had them all slaughtered, and only a few survived. Obi-Wan, Kanan, Jarrus, and technically Ezra becomes a Jedi, but he wasn't really a part of that, of Order 66. But my theory is that he would be. I wonder if maybe the Emperor was, maybe had contacted Snoke, or was in league with him, or had just had said to try to get Ben Solo to be on his side. And I wonder if the Emperor ever tried speaking with Kylo Ren through the Force, maybe. That's just like speculation, so I don't really know if that's what's happening. It's kind of all up in the air, but it would be interesting to kind of see if that's kind of what's like going on. Excuse me, guys. My throat is scratchy. I apologize. But it is really interesting to kind of see that, and I don't know. It's so much in video games and books is talked about the Emperor and Darth Vader. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing stories that does not involve them. And this is a kind of everywhere video. I apologize, but let me get your thoughts down there in the description box, because none of this has ever been. We've never had a Star Wars story that takes place in Legends or canon, to my personal knowledge. If I'm wrong, please let me know down below. If there's maybe a book or a comic that I just don't know of that kind of does talk about this. I mean, nothing in canon anyway has been published, because I have almost everything from canon so far. I'm missing like 3, but it really would be interesting if we had a Star Wars story that takes place with a handful of known characters that we know that have been light users and that have become one with the Force, and we actually get to see what their like possible afterlife is, or what it may look like or feel like, or what it is, and how that connects to the galaxy, and how that still what becoming one with the Force really feels like and is. So let me know what your thoughts are down below, and until tomorrow, I'll see you next time. Bye.